Where the last video cut out, we were solving this problem. I to the fourth is the same as 1, and 1 to the sixth is 1, and 1 times 10 is 10. Similarly, I to the eighth was 1, and I squared was negative 1. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1, times 6 is negative 6. So negative 6 plus 10 would equal 4. Here's another popular SAT kind of problem. Remember, if we're going to square something, we really need to FOIL it out. So we have 8 plus 8i times itself. And so I've set an area model up to do this. First one, 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 8i is 64i. Same thing here, 64i. 8 times 8 is 64. I times I is I squared. But remember, I squared was negative 1. So this really becomes negative 64 in here, making these 0. And so we have 64i plus 64i out of the first term. Now we have to FOIL this. So we've got 1 plus 8i times itself becomes 1, 8i, 8i, and 64i squared. But again, the I squared is negative 1. So this is really negative 64. Adding these together, we have 16i minus 63. So that's what replaces the second term, and we have to subtract 16i minus 63. We'll distribute that negative through to each term, and we really have 128i minus 16i minus a negative 63 is plus 63. Collecting our like terms, 128i and negative 16i is 112i plus 63. The answer is B. Another common SAT type problem is this idea of the conjugate pair. If we want to get rid of imaginary numbers, we would have to multiply 4 minus 3i times the conjugate pair, 4 plus 3i. As we do, 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times positive 3i is 12i. Negative 3i times 4 is a negative 12i. And negative 3i times 3i is negative I squared. Collecting like terms, these make 0. That's why we multiplied by the conjugate pair. We'd have a 16 and a minus 9, but remember, I squared is really negative 1. So this would simplify to 16 plus 9, or 25. We multiplied by the conjugate pair, and we have only real numbers, no more imaginary numbers. Now that you've watched these two videos, there's a series of problems to check yourself on imaginary numbers to get ready for your Friday summative and April 10th's real SAT.